Back from little Easter holiday, a few days off. Next term is Agreeology, as in agreeing, and then you can choose between ecology or ideology. This is a term that I find helpful to describe certain patterns, but I think it's helpful for the description. I'm not sure whether I fully understood all the consequences. So that needs to be said. Yes, we need to come together. We need to build communities. We have to congregate, and we can congregate about ideas, practical support, interests, and sometimes also kind of like outside defined or triggered situation where we stand up for something together. But agreeology is something different, I would suggest. It is connected, I think, to the CCC, the curatorial cultural industry, complex industry, where a certain curriculum is taught in the education, nowadays also in the art schools, and there's a strong overlap. There is a change. We don't necessarily read all the same texts that we maybe read 15 years ago, but there are new texts coming in and you see them, oh, read. So there is a change, and that makes also totally sense. Some issues are fashionable, others disappear, or new problems come up, and so new writers luckily come also up on mind. So it's not only now Deleuze and Foucault, but you can bet on that is still one of the standard operation to read Foucault. The important point is what you can actually achieve with reading the same writer or author when you then meet a colleague or a curator or somebody in that kind of field you're operating. You agree on having read the same. That doesn't even mean that you actually discuss what you've read. You just mark, I read this in your bibliography. So that creates an agreeology, and with that agreeology and with the change of fashionable contemporary discourses, you create tiny pockets of elite. Another way is making curate an exhibition that is even based on a text. I was just recently invited to something where the critical zone was mentioned, and there is a show about the critical zone by Bruno Latour himself. But when you then curate an exhibition on a kind of a massive popular, in the curatorial, well, massive popular text, and then curate another exhibition on, then you also create kind of tiny pockets of curatorial agreeologies that I find highly questionable. Same thing again, read the news. But just agreeing by having read doesn't lead to anything. The final advice in this kind of chapter is, friends are therefore that you really tell them what you think of them, but also your other thoughts. I think if we cannot, with our friends and the congregations and communities we actually have created for us, cannot even think critically towards each other and come to an exchange to learn from each other, I think we lost the right to use the term of criticality. Yeah, criticality is not just kind of like agreeing on the same text. Criticality means actually a specific, targeted critique that tries to understand and think through. That's it. Have a good start into the week.